So I started the recording. Hopefully today we will record the session because yesterday recording have some disturbance, so we cannot able to save it. So the application actually crashed. So so again I will tell that 90 days very less, right, to understand the UI UX. Because why I'm saying this thing, because theoretically everybody is teaching, right, but the important thing is how much do you are doing the practical things, right? So let's suppose if you can read the theory from your own, and I will also cover up in the class, but that will speed up the whole thing. So I can focus more on the practical things, right? Because in the end, your case study will, whenever you will create the case study, you can win the job very easily, right? A good salaried job. So that's why reading is very important. And let's suppose you already chosen this particular field, right? And and UX is like you have to read every time. Not even in these 90 days, but in these 90 days you are adopting one new habit that is called reading, right? Why? Because whenever you will do any job in any company, or you will work on any digital product, right? So there they will ask. So let's suppose in the company where you joined, right? So they give you a healthcare application, right? And healthcare, okay, let's suppose we have to create an application for cancer patients, right? So you have to study about the cancer proper work and the treatment, what type of problem cancer patients are following, right? So, and you know why I'm talking this cancer patient, because I already created the CRM for the cancer patients, right? Where they are managing their like 20 kg file, right, in a digital form. So cancer is like a long-term disease, right? So it took almost 7 to 8 years, right? Sometimes patient cure, sometimes not, right? So, but they have a very big history. Sometimes they have MRI, right? And they have scans, they have everything. So you can. It's not easy for a patient to take whole 20 kg files along with you every time. So what we did, because this is a problem, right? So we find the problem and we give the solution through the application. So there they can they can upload their medical records, right? And they can easily search the medical records from there. Right? So that is very easy for them to take, let's suppose, the second opinion, third opinion, right? And any new doctor treatment, right? So that's why I'm saying that reading is very, very important. And normally in North India, people don't read. We are not good reader from North India, but we have to do, you know. Because when I started my career as 17 years before, I was not a good reader, right? But gradually, I learned from different cultures and from different companies that reading is very important. So sometimes we got the MVP document, like 200 pages document. So we have to read, right? So it's a big challenge, I know. So but you have to face it. Okay. So let me open my camera. Okay. So let's talk about the chapter 1, right? So this is our chapter 1, right? Where we are talking about the introduction about the user experience, right? So why this book is, because this book written in a plain English, first of all, right? You don't need to go every time in the Google to find the meaning of the word, right? And on top of that, this writer explain the each and every term in a very easy manner, right? And second, with a very good examples, right? And with examples are very modern. So if you will Google some like UI UX PPTs or PDF, those examples are like 1990s or 2000 era websites, right? So, but we are not living in that era, right? Right now we are living in Web 3.0, right? So, So you know, from day one, I'm saying what is UX, right? So I hope you got some kind of nerves about the UX, like what is the UX term is, right? So I will also introduce one PPT where I will only explain and try to explain that, okay, exactly what is the difference in between UI and UX, right? Normally people don't know that, okay, where is the UX start and where the UI start, so there is a very thin layer in between. So I will explain you in today in this session. Okay, so like introducing about the user experience can be on digital or the physical, right? So let's suppose if you're driving a car, right, and you cannot able to find a button where you can switch on the MP3 player, right? So that is it's a struggle for a user actually, right? So to fulfill that, or to avoid that, the important thing is how easy you can interact your interface with in front of your user. That is the defining the parameter of the user experience actually, right? So two example, one is saying the accident, right, and another one is the register, right? So in accident, road accident happen on the road, right? So if let's suppose a green light is there, right? But let's suppose a tree grown up and it hide the whole light section, right? So people from that particular direction, that particular driver cannot able to see that, okay, right is red or green, right? So for that particular user, वो तो ठोक देगा गाड़ी किसी में, right? So for that particular driver, they don't know that, okay, the signal, what type of signal is right now, right? So they will just simply move it, right? Because he didn't able to see the signal, right? So that is a bad user experience for that particular, or you can say circle or corner, right? So again, we say the register. So the line at register is in the case. These are the example into the physical words, right? But as I said, the UX is everywhere. So gas station moved so slowly because the cash register was complex and confusing, and unless the clerk paid extra close attention while ringing something. So, and the pump, right? On pump there are also a physical keyboard, right? So there they put the amount, they put the what type of fuel you would like to go with, right? Either petrol or diesel, right? So that UI, and even everybody using the debit card, what do we say, ATM machine, right? So that is a hardware with a software with a UI, and you put your personal hardware that is called card into the ATM machine, and now it's like, okay, you would like to so ATM machine, what ATM machine do, they ask some questions, right? What do you want? You want your change your pin, right? You want to debit the cash, right? So those all are the example about the UI. And sometimes you also felt that, okay, this particular ATM machine is not user friendly, right? Because you have to struggle to find your task or your choices, right? That's why they put every 6-7 buttons on top. You just press it and go, to the next step. So this is the and from the ATM machine, what we can learn, the important thing is you have to ask the task or the question in bits, right? So let's suppose task 1 is, okay, what you want, right? So task 1, let's suppose I said, okay, I want cash from the ATM machine, right? So another question they ask, okay, do you have a saving account or another account, right? So information we have to actually, from UX perspective, with the UI, actually we are taking the information from the user, right? Let's suppose if we will bombard the asking the question in front of the user will get feared and they will leave the screen simply, right? Because they cannot, and fear is not good for UX actually, right? So to avoid this thing, you have to ask the question in bits where it's required and minimize your question as much you can, right? So that is actually a great tip which will help you in throughout your whole UX career actually, right? So next thing is the coffee maker. So in coffee maker in our office we also have a coffee machine, right? So there are the buttons. So where the UI buttons, it means UX started, you know. Then we have the clock. So in clock, okay, let's suppose normally we have like 2-3 buttons behind it. You can either set the time or you can set the alarm, right? So that is talking about that particular term. Then we have okay. So now in this particular course we will talk about like from product design to user experience design. So let's talk about more in detail about the user experience design, right? So let me open one PPT over here. Are you comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the PPT where we will explain you the difference in between the UI and UX, right? That is very important because normally people got confused that okay, where the UX and where the UI, right? So let's talk about that. UX is, you know, usability, easy to use and interaction, right? So, or you can say user experience is the understanding what people do and how we can make it better. As I already give you the example that we are taking the information from the user through the UI, right? And how easily we are taking or how like usability, what type of usability we are providing to the user, the whole UX success is depend on that. So usability is very, very important. Okay. So next is UX is everything, everything is UX. World is changing, so user too. This is very important thing. Why? Because Vani, can you put yourself on mute?
Yeah.
Sometime I got pee. Okay. So world is changing, user too, and I think day one I explained you that you have to share your ideas to the world, right? To your teammates. Why? Because we are first we have monkey, then we are growing from monkey to man, right? So these genes we are already carrying from our parents and their parent, right? So those genes are like information, right? So information we are carrying from like millions of years, right? But the important thing is you have to understand this particular thing that if whatever you learned in between 2 or 3, right, you have to share that particular thing. I created a WhatsApp group, right? On that, whatever the good thing or video, if you like it, just share it over there. Why? Because if you are sharing the knowledge, actually you are improving your skills, right? If you will share, he will also motivate to share it, right? So sharing is very important, right? And meaning of this particular thing is, let's suppose, let's talk about a mobile phone, right? So in the era of Akbar, how they are communicating from one state to another state? Through pigeons, right? They put a letter, very small Twitter bytes over there. So that is that time of Twitter, you know. So even Twitter have more words. So like 160 word I think we can write on Twitter. So but that is the Twitter, right? For them. After that, gradually science evolved, right? And we got a telephone. So previous telephone like 2 sets, one set for listening and one for the mic, right? Now this particular, why I'm taking this example of that communication. Over, you can say anybody's success is depend on the communication, right? And the sharing thing is a part of that particular thing. Yeah, you guys are communicating with each other, right? So after the that particular thing, we have one single hand with the drr, right? That particular dial cap, right? Dial pad, right? Then we have buttons, and now we have phone, mobile phone, and mobile phone introduced with the buttons, then the touch screen. So when technology came into our life, UX changing. I'm not saying UX improving, but UX changing, right? So world is changing, so user too, right? So now have you ever seen nowadays anybody using the telephone? No, telephone totally smashed out. Similar way we have cassettes, right, in the music player. Yes, A side, B side, right? After that CD came. Now CD smashed, right, from the market. Even pen drive, no use of the pen drive, right? We have cloud, we have sharing, right? We have a lot of music in our Spotify and other apps, right? So world is changing, so user too. The next thing is why we need a better UX. This is a very important question actually. If we will not provide a better UX, then business will not grow simply, right? Either it's a digital or physical world, right? So more frequent to visit your website. So I'm talking about only regarding the digital thing, right? Increase return visit to your website. Users staying longer on your website. Increase sale obviously. Decrease user errors. Decrease customer support cost because they know what they want. So they don't need to call to every time to the customer support. And reduce word of mouth complaints. Okay, so that is the benefit of the UX. Then people don't come on what you do, they come on why you do it. This is a very important statement in UX, right? So next thing is,
please
explain.
Elaborate.
Yeah. People don't come on what you do, they come on why you do it. So important thing is, let's suppose you are selling a mobile phone, right? So you have to tell the USP point to the user, right? Like why we are doing this and why you have to buy this particular device. So the why thing is very important, that how this particular phone is different from another phones, and how this particular phone is solving your daily life problems. So this is the USP point, right? So that's why they come on why you do it. So the why you are introducing this particular phone and why I buy it, right? I hope you got the answer.
Yes, sir.
So any type of invention start with a question. If the apple will not drop from that pay and from the tree, Newton will never discover the gravity, right? He said, why it go down, right? Not go up. Why the Newton only got it? Because he was very much aware about the things or the surroundings, right? I must tell you, as per my experience, UX problem solution is in the surroundings. That's why we do the user research, right? So for finding the problem in front of the user, you are getting more insights about the problems and solutions, right? So once you know that, okay, this is the problem, solution will come after, right? So why, how, and what? So these are the very important keywords where the UX born actually. So make smart, powerful, and efficient software that deliver user. Create a great user experience built upon modern technology and design standards. Research, testing, discovery, sketching, wireframing, designing, prototyping, iterating. That is called what? So that I already explained in my last 2 classes about the UX process. So UX is not UI. This is very important statement. Normally, because UIUX is very new in the market, people understand, okay, UIUX and both are same, but it is not. So how I differentiating over here? Let me explain you. UX is not UI. UI is small part of UX. UX designer and UI developers are complementary to each other. I will explain you more. So this is a UI Okay, and this is a UX. Means if you wear this particular coat pant, right, how you experiencing that particular thing, that is called user experience. How comfortable it is, how cozy it is, let's suppose it's the winter outside, right? So, and how handsome you are looking in that, that is also a part of the UX, right? One example, difference between UI UX, just take a look. There are a lot of examples over there that will explain you very easily that what is the difference in between UI UX.
Excuse me, sir. I couldn't see the screen, your screen.
Oh, thanks for telling me. uh,
And can you explain one more time the difference between UI and UX?
yes. Sorry, I apologize. I cannot able to share the screen. I will go back little bit quickly. Okay. So that this is the screen where I started.
Okay.
So what is UX? User experience UX is a difference in between. I will share this PPT link. It's on internet actually.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And UX is everything. Everything is UX. So this is where I'm explaining the genetical thing, and the sharing communication and all. Why we need a better UX? Why people more think about the UX? Why, how, what? These questions will actually solving the problem, right? And then UX is not UI. And this is why, because UX is not UI, UI is a small part of UX, right? And UX has a big circle actually. Then we have the example. So coat pant is one of the example. So how you are wearing it and how you are experience the whole particular coat and pant as a UI. Think like as a UI. So your experience is actually a UX, right? Next thing is difference in between. Just take a look. So what is user interface and what users see and perceive? So means this couplet and a T is a UI actually. So when how easily you can grab it and how easily you can sip it, that after sipping you saying, oh, tea is a tasty or not. And sometimes tea is not, tea will not say tasty, right? Let's suppose. But couplet is very nice. So in a expensive couplet, if the tea is not tasty, then it will feel like a tasty, So the experience improve.
One still drink the whole tea,
Yeah.
even if the cup is good.
Yes, exactly. So we praise the cup actually, couplet. One example, then this is this is the user experience, how user feel and interact. So interaction is very important. So now these type of cup we need in the winters, right? When we have like cold outside. But in summer, we have to pick that particular cup from that particular area, right? Then elements of UX. So these are the different elements which we will talk during this course. So we have visual, content, interaction, global navigation, which we call information architecture, functionality and usefulness, requirement documents, etc. User audience needs and goals. A solid UX work will result in better product, right? Cheaper to fix problem. So let's suppose if you are finding let's suppose if you created a proper wireframes, right, or the proper high fidelity color UI. So there you will know that, okay, how your software will flow in front of a user, right? So if you are fixing each and everything in the UI or UX phase, so development will be easy. So the minimum error will become, right? And go back will be reduced. So normally if you are not following these two particular steps, there will be a lot of go back during the development, and that will be the cost the client a lot. So if normally in the market say that if client invests $1 in UI UX, they're actually saving $100. So it's like 100x return if you are investing single dollar in the UX, right? So again, we have less risk, better ability to deliver, deeper insights, product that are easy to use, make more money. Easy to use is common customer requirements. So then we have next slide. Thank you. Now let's talk about some UX jokes, right? You will get amazed that people do like this. Well, this is not a joke, it's a truth actually. We created this part, but when user will interact with your user interface or the application, user create their own path as per their convenience. And this is the truth, right? You can laugh or you can understand it, or you can do the both. So next is toolbars overloaded. So this is very old screenshot actually. So in previous Internet Explorer, we have the capability, everything over there, but the important thing is very tiny, where we are getting the information. So here, typical Apple product is just like simply touch. A Google product is touch, just type and find. And your company app, full of information. As I already told you that you have to ask the information in the bits, right? In the steps where it's required, that particular information is good enough for them to make the decision, right? But if you're asking a lot of things, your UI will be messed up. Then we have, so this is also a joke. To build our new system, we hired an armada of business analytics and architects. Great, and who built the UI? I guess our intern used one of these UI builder tools, the stepchild of enterprise software. Interns can only help to build the UI UX, but you need a proper UI UX consultant to guide them at least, right? So that is the joke regarding that. So now your call is important to us. Please enjoy 40-minute flute solo. Airtel, sometime we experience on the Airtel, right? So AR tone will come and we got irritated sometime, because during the pandemic you have, waiting time has been increased actually. Next, customer who bought this item also bought this. It's not happen like this. So this is also a parameter of the UX, right? So no result for Honolulu, Hawaii, no results for, oh, forget it, let's just go visit my mother in Fargo. What does that mean? If it's a very complicated spelling, right? But Google is very smart. So if you type Hona only, so it will explain you, it will give like 4-5 suggestions. But this is what you mean. You don't need to type the whole actually. You have to type just 2-3 alphabets and job done. So they change that, or we will not go there, we'll go at Paris. So funny UI code, user interface is like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's not that good. UX design was implemented exactly as intended. Maybe yes or no. Okay, so fine sign of a stupid UX designer. So don't mess with these designers. Let's have a look. Sign, I have made wireframes, right? So normally this is actually, I can give only, I can speak on this particular slide the whole day. Why? Let me explain you. If a UX designer say that, okay, only UX designer, my job has been done after the wireframe. So it means he is not a complete UX designer. Why? Because a UX designer, if wireframe will not use will not use by the user, right? Are you following me? So what will be used? They will use the color UI. So if a UX designer don't know about the color UI, he's not a complete UX designer. Even a UX designer, he can be a very good user researcher, right? And let's suppose if they have no creative skill or they have no UI design skills, how they will ask to a customer like, okay, what color you like, right? Let's suppose if they are aware about the color UI, if they are aware about the color palette, they will simply ask the color during the user research, so that the brand will develop in that particular color because user like that particular color, right? That is very important. So let's suppose if UI UX design, okay, I have done my UI design, my job is done. Even then, he is not a complete UX designer.
UI.
Why? Even he is a knowledge, he has a knowledge, right? And I said my job has been done after the UI. He is not a complete UX designer. Why? Because if he don't know that okay, what type of problem will occur during the development, how he can be a proper UX designer, right? He will do the mistake each and every time if he will not live a journey of the development, right? That's why I started studying about the UX in 2009-10. Immediately I got an idea I have to run my own company. Why? Because I have to complete this 360 circle. That's why we have Think 360, right? So let's suppose UX designer know about the development, right? Even then he is not completing the UX design circle. Why? Because if you don't have any knowledge about the marketing, if you cannot create the creative for the marketing, Facebook ad, Google ads, how would you know that okay, what is the market buzz? You have to understand it very closely, right? So after the marketing or after the analysis of the traffic, you have to behave like a data scientist as well, guys. UX journey is not a simple journey. If you are not aware about it after launch the product, that lot of traffic is coming from the south and you build the application for the north. So it means in traffic will come until you are getting the ads, paid ads on the different channels, right? But if you stop the ads, traffic will also stop. You have to think about how we can retention about that particular customer, right? What type of channels we can create where they can retention and where they can come back again and again on your application, right? And the good thing is every UX designer should be think like a client or put a client shoes in their feet. Why? Because otherwise you will lose the product. A product success is people loving that product, people using that product, people recommending that product. That is the success of that particular product, right? So each and every aspect you have to understand. UX, CX, BX, we talked about yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
Very crucial thing, man. Think about again. Wanna seriously become a UI UX designer? Okay, next slide. Second, I have designed an app in the App Store. This is a myth. We just only upload the app in the App Store. We never design it in the app. Or we use different design tools, Figma, XD, etc. This is a joke actually. Then third, my process is my own. You can twist little bit, but you have to follow the basic principle of the UX as it is. As it is, guys. Fourth sign, we learn when it's live. No. Have you understood this particular term?
When it's into the...
It means that we learn when it's live. Means we will learn when a website or application will live on the server.
Yes.
It's not like that. So where is the user research? Before development, you have to learn about the product each and every time, each and every day. So next, I am a creative person, not a technical one. I already explained you. So being a UX designer, you have to understand each and every step of the development cycle. Not even the development cycle, but also the marketing side. Then you can say that, okay, I have knowledge about the UI UX. Even I don't know everything, right? I just only know the 60% of the UI UX. Still, because I don't know what type of culture in Brazil, because I never visited over there, I never designed an application for the Brazil audience, right? Even I worked very less in the Europe market because there are language barrier. So maximum products I have been working on like US, Canada, right? So 60%. Then 60, once the product is built, I am ready to move on. I already explained it. It's not easy. If being a UX designer, you don't know about like where particular traffic is coming and how you are analyzing the metrics of that particular traffic and how you can suggest the post-launch changes.
Which changes?
Post-launch changes.
The post-launch changes.
Yes, yes. If you will not, if you are not able to analyze the metrics of the traffic, you can never analyze or recommend the post-launch changes. Very important. As I already told you, you have to think like a client, right? Client is thinking like a client, but the biggest challenge is you are not even thinking like a client, but you have to also think like a user. So you, client and user, you are living with 3 brains in a whole product cycle. Sometimes you have to adopt the 4th brain as well of the developers, right? Very sincere job. Whatever the decision you are taking, you have to do proper research. Otherwise, something will happen bad in that particular product or in that particular screen. Okay? That's why I stressed on the UI UX process. So let's suppose if you are following the proper UI UX process, then we will do the mistake, but less mistakes. Not a silly one every time. Okay? The next thing, now imagine the worst possible user experience in product design. So now this is the time of laughing. Let's suppose if you got this type of kettle or this type of mug, can you drink it? Bad example of bad UX. Good example of bad UX actually. Let's have lunch with us and we are serving this spoon to our guests. Can you eat it from it? No. Mind it. This type of chairs. No one can sit on it. Then we have dinner set like this. Top reason to drink. If someone pronounce GUI, do a shot. But normally in America, they know this particular word, they say GUI, right? If someone says he started doing wireframes in PowerPoint, take a drink. Because PowerPoint is not for the wireframing. We are using which tool? Uxui.
Sorry, Uxui.
My board is for the research board, You're putting everything on that board. Okay. Next, if you are the only one who knows what UX mean, finish the bottle. Because it's not true. Right? When the UX decisions are made by group vote, prepare a picture of margaritas. Because this is a good thing. And I'm not big group, like 2-3 people, not more than that. But let's suppose if it is a more than 10-15 group, then everybody thinking like their own way, right? So like UX designer, if like one UX designer, if they are making the decision, like a design team is making the decision, that is okay, right? But let's suppose client is jumping, no, do like that. Why? Your user don't need it. You have to explain to your client, user will get confused and you will lose the particular user on this particular point. So you have to keep minimum people in the decision, especially the designers only. Then if you dress like a Steve Jobs, stripe naked and do a shot. If someone says buttons should be orange and green because they test the best drink, it's not like that. Okay, every time we cannot do that same thing. If someone asks why the wireframes have no color, do a double shot. Because wireframe is wireframes. That should be in a single color, either black and white or single tone, any blue tone. If someone says the site has to work on IE6, drink. Because IE6 means Internet Explorer 6. That is very old browser. That introduced in I think Windows 98 or Windows 7. So normally this type of browser is not using by the user. If someone say above the fold, smash the bottle over their head. Means, you know what this above the fold. So what, let's suppose this is whole screen is above the fold. If I scroll it and the things will come, right? So this is called first fold. But in the first fold, we cannot put everything. We cannot put the whole website in the above the fold. It's not possible. Above the fold, design very smartly with a proper copy UX writing, right, and proper call to action button. Next, thank you. So this is all about the UX and UI, guys. Do you, Mansi, you have any question, or you guys?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Clear.
Clear? Wow, nice. So, okay. So let me do one thing. I'm stopping my screen and I'm stopping the recording.